Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We've been already talking. Sometimes we just get going, and we're here on the Now You Know podcast. I'm here with Ron Arenas and his son Alex, and we're just going to talk about different things. I see that he has a Lucid shirt on. We were talking before the show that you work there.
Correct.
You do.
Yep.
And you have a car outside. Is that BMW?
Correct.
That is nice. You got a lot of customization to it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yeah.
So we're talking about some car stuff, and we're going to talk about some HVAC stuff, getting ready for the winter with Ron and his expertise. He owns Picture Rocks Cooling and Heating. And, we're just going to go from there. And then whatever happens, we'll just keep going. And we were talking about football already. So let's talk about Lucid Motors.
Okay.
So a little inside story for me. I have some family that was really paying attention to Lucid. I know that it's up there in Coolidge, Casa Grande.
Yeah.
And invested in some stock and stuff like that. And for those that don't know what Lucid is, can you give us a little rundown of kind of what you guys are doing out there?
So Lucid is an electric car company, and a lot of people think of it as Tesla's competitor, but in reality, it's just the luxury version of the electric vehicle. A lot of people you can't really compare the two when Tesla's an everyday driver car versus, your Kia versus your Mercedes.
Yeah.
So the Mercedes is, or Lucid is the Mercedes of the EV world.
Nice to know. Okay.
Not to mention that they do have some cool and nice specs, but they do come at a price point, and that's what's hurting a lot of us. But we are coming out with different models that are really, making that happen for everyone.
Yeah, try to hit the middle class.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean,
out there.
everyone wants the Sapphire, and the Sapphire is a triple motor nightmare. It's crazy, but
how much?
I seen some prices start at like $170, and then some prices go all the way up into $250,000.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. But those are just online prices. That's not from the dealer directly.
Yeah.
So I can't give you an exact number on that.
Yeah. Hey, Clint, are you directing? Oh, there he goes. I was just seeing. Sometimes we have glitches. I don't know what's going on. Clint, are you good in there? $170,000.
But it's Elon Musk's nightmare.
Is it?
Yep.
Why?
There's a video out there. I forgot who made it, but I believe it's somewhere out in Europe. They basically take a Bugatti Pure Sport, an R1 bike, and then the Plaid, and they go on a head-to-head race, 4v4, and the Lucid smokes all four of them without a question.
Do you know the 0 to 60 time at all for that car?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's something crazy insane. And for the longest of time, well, not the longest of time, but for a while, they held a record for the fastest production car.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So how long can you go on a battery life on the Sapphire?
I don't know the Sapphire life exactly, but with an extended range pack, you can probably get up into the higher 500s, I believe. Okay. I would like to say, because I know we do claim on our extended life, it's pretty far up there. I don't know the exact range with the triple motor with the extended life pack. They haven't really necessarily released that specification yet, but it is up there.
500 miles. What's it cost to charge? Let's just say a standard pack. What are you looking at cost wise for one charge?
The charge to like refill the battery?
Yeah, for you to get going. Let's say you're all the way on E.
I don't know, honestly, because there's a lot of people out there that will tell me like, hey, I can charge this thing up and it's only going to cost me like $10, all the way. And that depends if you're at a supercharger. And it also depends on the kilowatt per hour at that supercharger.
Yeah.
And I heard that it ranges depending on the charger itself. So if you find something that's fast charging, super fast, it's going to be more expensive because it's that luxury of, like, hey, I'm going to recharge quicker.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, this one's a lower one. It's going to, charge less. That's from what I've been told. I don't own an EV myself yet, but that's usually the most information I get from most people.
Right on. Do you have any insight on like how serious we are as like I would say as a country, or just in economically where we're at, that these EVs will be the main driver for Americans? What do you think? Just by kind of what you see, how you feel about them?
A lot of people would like to say that, by 2032, it's going to be a majority of the new cars.
Yeah.
I don't believe so. There's places like Colorado where, below 20 degrees is going to depreciate your battery life and also the output of the battery life. So you're still going to need cars in these cold weather places, that are internal combustion. And so it kind of depends on where you're going to be at in the States, and also kind of depends on, what area you're going to be in. Like, let's just say you're in California.
Yeah.
If you're in California, more than likely you're going to start seeing more EVs. Those places like California and Florida, the highly populated areas, you're going to see that a lot more.
Yeah. Which still in a sense helps, I guess I would say, economically, because if you have a demand of gasoline going down, that should help the prices somewhat. But we can only hope. I mean, you just never know. What is it today? Almost $5.
Yeah, it's about $5. Yeah.
And right now the battle is it's not the battle of, everyone says to recharge the car, but right now the problem is storing enough power in the grid to be able to charge all these electric cars, or even going electric in general. Yeah. And everything else, like going to heat pumps. We don't have the storage space here in the US grid to be able to handle that. That's
what I've been hearing. I've been hearing it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, like it's just unrealistic for it to happen.
In the time frame maybe, but I think given time, they can create that storage, but it's going to definitely take time, money, and obviously materials to create these storage facilities.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an interesting concept, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know, maybe Ron, you can elaborate on it too, but to create all this stuff that we need, to manufacture all these pieces and stuff we need, we're using fossil fuels.
Right. Yeah. So we're mining a bunch of, different metals and stuff.
Yeah. It's like, it's just an interesting thing. And, but you know what? I'm not totally sold on the EV thing, but I am super sold on the hybrid models.
Yeah.
I just think that's I think that's genius.
Yeah.
Like, if you just made all of them that way, now you have people, they're not as reliant on the gasoline, and they can charge up, and then you have it gets charged by driving. I think that's just...
Yeah, I wish all of our trucks were hybrid. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because how many do you have in your fleet?
8.
Yeah, so
yeah.
You cut that in half. And
right, yeah, during the summer, our gas bill is huge.
You running some diesels in that fleet?
No, just my own personal truck.
Just
is diesel.
Yeah. It's I got rid of. I had a V8 truck. I had kids. I had to get rid of it for that. But even if I didn't have the children, like, I was gonna get rid of it because I just was like the difference. So I have a car outside. It's a 6-cylinder. I think it's like 20 something miles per gallon. The difference from there, and like the tanks and the filling up and the man, it's
if
insane.
you don't have a need for that big truck,
it's insane.
I could see downsizing for it.
Yeah, it's just blows me away. So your car outside, what are you rocking in that thing? What's going on with that? What year is it?
It's a 2011 BMW M3 Competition. It's pretty basic. It's nothing too crazy. For a while it was supercharged, and then I took it off for a different kit, and so it's going to be supercharged here in the winter again. But other than that, it's on bags, 3-piece wheels, the whole 9 yards, full bolt-ons, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's just in my opinion, it's just daily traffic.
Yeah. Is it?
To me, in my world,
Yeah. Do you take it to the track ever?
I have. Yeah.
What do you run?
Well, not the actual track, but I'm talking circle track.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Lap times.
Yeah. What's your lap time?
Depends on track you're talking about.
You tell me. I have no. All I know is the what is it? The quarter mile.
They don't even do quarter miles anymore. They do 1/8 miles now. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So they're starting to shut that down.
Shut down just that period? Or
Well, I guess there's some safety concerns is in that scene where quarter miles are getting dangerous, and so they want to do 8th mile runs. And so special events like Beamer Invasion we just went to like a month ago.
Yeah.
We're only doing 8th mile runs.
Yeah.
So, but we do specialty tracks. Like I did a specialty track out there. So that was cool. Just cone tracks and even NASA out here. Or, just depends on whatever I can do.
Yeah. Your mic's falling down. It's getting a little low. You can bring it up. Get a little harder here. Don't be afraid. There you go. Nice. So the paint on that, where'd you get that done?
It's wrapped.
It's wrapped?
Yeah. I had, I'm not going to name the shop that did it, just because there's some flaws, I guess you could say, with it. And it was a whole finagle.
Oh, no.
But it's actually not Ozatec, TinyBot wrap. I was originally looking at an Ozatec, but there's only certain dealers that are allowed to buy it, and so I went with TinyBot, and they had the closest match to it. But it's copper metallic gray or copper metallic orange.
What's something like that run?
Well, I usually get discounts from. I don't even ask for discount. Well, I don't ask for them. People just give them to me because people just know me. So
nice.
A lot of people will say like, well, what'd you pay for it? I was like, well, I don't have a real price for you. But majority of the times I would like to tell you for a professional shop that I'd probably look at $4.
Wow.
So.
Yikes. So are you like, people know you? Are you known in the car scene? Are you known?
I'm pretty well known, at least in the BMW scene and some older scenes as well. But people know me here in Arizona.
Are you doing car shows?
Yeah, here and there when I can. I try to stay away from most local small stuff.
Go to Crowns?
I do go to Crown here and there. I do Crown and I also do the La Cantada.
Oh, okay.
Every now and then. I try to do those quarterly just so I can still, be in the scene and, so it's not overwhelming like that car is going to be there all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I try to do out-of-state shows a lot. So El Paso, California. And then I was supposed to go to New Mexico for Redoso, but that didn't turn out so well. But we're going to do that next year.
Okay.
So
when you're going to these shows, what is the main objective of it? I mean, is it networking? Is it notoriety of the car? You winning awards? You winning money?
So
getting sponsorships? A
lot of people say, here's my thing. A trophy will always collect dust, but your memories never will. So for me, it's the experience. It's the experience you go with your friends. It's the time that you have with them, the memories that you make. And a lot of times it's the experience that lead up to that specific show.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give you a good example. So Beamerfest, it was a 5-day weekend, but it was a 1-day show. And it was just the things that, hey, we did this crazy caravan from Arizona to California, 100 cars, and then we broke up into our groups. We stayed at a whole mansion together. We had these different things planned out, beach, cruises, meet and greets, stuff like that. Just doing stuff together. That's what it's all about.
That's really cool.
And a lot of people don't think of it like that. They think of it like they think of the award, they think of the money, they think of the fame. But the old school traditions and the old school ways of looking at the car scene is just friends. Yeah. And that's what a lot of my friends are going for too as well. That's what low class is, and that's who I stand behind when it comes to big shows. Is just car gatherings and friends.
Okay. See, I had no idea about any of that. I didn't know that the bond between people.
Oh yeah, it's
goes
crazy.
that deep. I didn't know. I just thought it was just on the surface, just going to the shows, we're networking.
No.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that.
I'll give you another example. So, like when we go to El Paso, we have a bunch of friends out there, and they have a shop out there. And I take my friend Braden, and every now and then he just digs into their cars that they're working on, and they're like, hey, we're working on these cars, we're working on these cars as well, and we understand that you guys are visitors, but we're going to be working on these cars as well. But he jumps in, they love him, they love us.
Yeah.
We do projects at their place, and we do projects for them as well.
Wow.
And so it's it's the memories of like, hey, let's make this a whole weekend, not just about the car show, but about our friends.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
And it's crazy. When you actually make it more about your friends, the amount of more people you meet and the more experiences you get out of it is so much farther, and it's greater.
Yeah.
It's overall a better experience. And then, I get to come home and say like, these are my memories.
Yeah.
These are my experiences,
Yeah.
Like, I remember that show because of this. I remember that show because of, I did this with this person. Like, let's do this again the next time.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's really cool. Did you ever do any drifting? You ever try it?
I tried the skid pad.
Do that every once in a while.
Yeah, I have friends in the drift scene. It's not my scene specifically, but I support everything. It's cool. Drift pads are cool. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So, yeah, just like circle track guys, it's a lot of suspension. You're steering. There's people that carry a couple steering racks with them just for drifting. Wow. I mean, we have my friend that works here in town locally, Javier at Discount Muffler. He's a pro drifter, and that dude carries around a couple steering racks like it's nothing. But he's a pro fabricator. He's super crazy. The amount of time and energy he puts into his car, and then what he does is it's magic. Wow. And just to see my friends be able to do that, it's crazy.
Yeah, I thought that I remember watching a little bit of it, and I just was hearing the engine screaming, just like they're getting on it, and then they're whipping it, and I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, not anything I drive. So,
and that's the same way with circle track driving. When you get down to a circle track, or even an autocross track, wherever you're going, if you're going to the NASA track, if you're going to Musselman, if they have like a special event and they're doing cone tracks, it's just crazy. It's just the sound of it, just the everything about it, just watching people's techniques, how they're taking these corners and just enjoying it. And it goes like that for everything.
So you guys do these like multi-state trips. You ever gotten snagged up by a cop in a different state on one of the trips, or is anybody?
No, actually, believe it or not, we're actually really good about that. Good. So when we do plan these things out, we make sure there's a lot of communication involved with it. We make sure that everyone knows, like, hey, we do these rules. Make sure no one passes the leader and no one falls behind the last person. With that being said, everyone stays within a certain amount of distance. Yeah, and you can have fun. Yeah, I'm not saying anything, but come on, man. You can have fun, but also respect the boundaries.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, I'm still young, but I used to have I didn't have the fast cars. I thought I did, what I mean. But I used to have a Camaro back in the day, and what I mean. There's some spots out in the old Marana that people go to.
Oh, there still is.
There still is for now, right? With all the growth, you're like, oh man, yeah. It's crazy how much it's growing, huh?
Oh yeah.
I go out there just to take photos all the time. Yeah, believe it or not.
Yeah. What's your favorite spot out there?
The Marana Police Department.
Yeah,
believe it or not. That it's like a big old circle turnaround area. Well, you can pull into like one of the sidewalks, and if you're careful about it, if you make sure you're unknown, you're not doing anything crazy, you can pull into that front little driveway portion and just take all the photos you want. And it's a beautiful background.
Yeah.
And
it really is.
And my biggest thing is, like, I don't really tell many people about spots like that, just because you don't want them to be like, oh, I'm gonna go take pictures here, and then next thing you know, the next person tells this person.
Yeah, no, it could happen for sure. Yeah, no, for reals. Did you ever go out there, Ron?
No, I haven't been out there.
No, no, there's all kinds of good spots out there.
What's the great thing about that spot? Since it's right next to a police station, if you do decide to do anything stupid, you're gonna get caught.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, there's like cameras all out there too.
Oh, I'm sure they have my plate
in the building.
Yeah. I'm sure they've watched me for a few times. They're like, "What is this kid doing?" And they're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah. I see him with the camera."
Respect. They're probably like, "Man, that's okay." Yeah. No, I mean, you should teach a class to the young kids about the car group stuff and traveling, because, man, back in my day when I was working, there's like no regard at all for anything, and you're just kind of mind blown. Like, did you not read anything about getting your license? Like, privilege. It's like,
believe it or not, there's two sides to the scene.
Yeah.
There's the OG side that this is what we believe in, it's friends and cars. And then there's the other side of the scene, which is a lot of the takeover scene.
Yeah.
Which
that's insane.
We've seen this all over the internet, and I'm not going to say anything towards it other than, the videos prove itself.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I don't even know how we get there. Like, how do we even think that that's okay? Like, that is, I do not get that.
A lot of us are just like, if you're in that scene, we don't want anything to do with you.
I get it.
Because
it's criminal, man. I mean,
well, it's not even just that, but they correlate. Hey, like, oh, these guys are in the car scene. These guys are in the car scene, so they're all the same people. We're not the same people as them.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
So a lot of people, and this is everyone. It doesn't matter if you're just a random person on the street, if you're my next door neighbor. Like, you're gonna correlate all the car scene with them together. I'm like, no, I'm completely different from them.
Yeah.
And the way we treat the car scene is completely different than they treat the car scene, because we look at things different.
Yeah. Because you have that. Back then he was dealing with just street racing.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, we're just gonna take over an intersection and act like crazy.
And a lot of gang violence too.
Yeah, Does that happen a lot in these car groups, where these car groups are kind of like controlled, or they're
maybe affiliated
with some gangs, like they're built on the gang model?
I'm not going to say yes or no to that statement, other than they can jump in it, yes and no, but yeah.
No, it's kind of, I mean, I'm sure you just never know. There's people that are in gangs that you sometimes don't even talk about it.
Yeah, and it's just sad because it ruins it for everyone else.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, people are doing these takeovers, and even in Phoenix they used to do it like somewhat safe, where they would just go take over like a little, like a back end of like a commercial, sector.
Yeah.
And they just do it there.
Yeah.
But now it's like whole highways.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy because
It's
a lot
nuts.
of times now you're seeing shootings in these scenes as well, which is unfortunate. But it's just like, keep it out of the streets. If you're gonna go do it on a skid pad. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about fall now.
Okay.
It's the fall months, Ron.
Yeah. It's fall. It's under 105 degrees, right?
It's like 100 right now, right? Or something like that. I was getting excited. I was like, oh yeah, it's finally going to cool down, and it did for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And then shot up into.
Yeah, it was 105 for a couple days.
Yeah.
I think this week.
It's been great. It's been crazy. Do you have a pool?
We do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an in-ground pool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you felt this too, but did you feel yourself? Do you have somebody do your chemicals for you?
Yeah.
Smart man. I used to.
Well, the summer is our busy season.
Yeah.
I just don't have time to
don't even
do
get
anything
in
like
there.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of shock I had to use this year because of the heat. Like my pool temperature got into the mid 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never seen it before in my life.
Yeah.
Well, in my life I've had a pool, which is 4 or 5 years. It never got that hot. I could not. But like I went in it and it was like
bath water almost. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had to use like this insane amount of shock this year.
Wow.
Just because it was the algae was just with the heat in there. It was just like, whew.
Yeah.
I went to a pool company down here and I'm like, hey, are you guys selling a lot of shock right now? And she's like, yeah, actually.
Oh, wow.
Like tons, because it's just people's pools are really hot.
Yeah.
But getting into fall and stuff, like we got to start getting ready for winter. And believe it or not, I think some people do use their heater.
Yeah.
In the
winter.
I know I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I got like young kids and
Right.
You can only
there's
some days that hit the 20s.
If I was a single guy, I'd never use my heater.
Yeah, right.
But I had 3 kids, and they were small ones. And,
yeah. So what should people start doing to get ready?
Usually,
what are you guys doing?
Usually, it's middle of October when we start talking about heaters and getting them ready. But it might be a little bit later this year. But it's always good to have a maintenance check on it and just have a professional go through it and make sure that it's safe for you and your family to use.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a gas appliance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was your company. Somebody posted an air filter. Was that his, Clint?
It might have been.
Yeah, it was like an air filter. I don't know if it was real or not, but it was like black.
Yeah. Yeah. I've posted a few of those.
That wasn't his.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how often you see that in the field.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I used to work for him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty often. They just totally forget about it. And
the worst you'd see is in rental homes or commercial buildings.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That's like the easiest way to kill your unit, right?
Oh, yeah.
You
use more energy. Your unit works harder. So you're going to shorten the life of it. And it's not going to, cool as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Don't take care of it, and it's not going to take care of you.
What's the word with these different air filters? So here's my question for you.
Sure.
Okay. I've tried several different air filters.
Okay.
I feel like I've got a good one right now because it's like in the middle of what I've seen.
Okay.
I've also had a set that was like, when we're talking about the air filter being clogged, it
Right.
felt like the unit was working
Right.
like a son of a gun to get air through that thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this? In my opinion, I don't know anything about it, so I'm just asking.
No,
How-
you're right on track.
And I feel like the people, maybe some other people have the same question. Is like, if I'm using this high, like thicker air filter that gets more allergens and stuff like that, am I potentially risking
yeah.
efficiency and
Right.
longevity of my unit?
Yeah, you're slowing down that air. You're not letting it breathe the way it's supposed to.
Okay.
So the best thing you can do is just a inexpensive pleated filter.
Mm-hmm.
They have them at like Lowe's and Home Depot for 3-pack for maybe $12 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Change it every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of where I'm at right now because I got told, I got some advice that, yeah, you should get this like high allergen
Yeah.
fighting thing. And I get this thing and it's, first off, it's kind of heavy.
It's so dense.
And,
yeah.
it's like solid, like the
Yeah.
outside solid.
Right.
I'm like,
And the air just can't pass through it.
yeah.
Yeah. And then if it just gets a little bit dirty, then you really have no air at all going
Yeah.
through
It's
it.
nuts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you don't need to do that.
You don't need to do that.
basically.
No. Just change it regularly.
Yeah.
And even if your filter says 90 days, in Tucson, there's no such thing as a 90-day filter. Change it every 30 days.
Yeah. I think all of them I bought said 90 days.
Yeah.
So do it in 30 days. That makes
Yeah.
sense. There's a lot of dust.
We're in a dust bowl. Yep.
Yeah.
Every time you open your door, every time the dogs come in, you have dust on your shoes. You bring dust in every time you open that door.
Yeah, and from my understanding, most of our houses, they're letting air from outside in, just in general, whether your windows.
The newer houses, yeah.
window
the
stuff,
newer houses
yeah.
have fresh air in them.
Yeah.
Because they're built really tight. The new
Yeah.
houses are built real tight for
Yeah.
efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always was wondering that because, like, recently I got a new unit last year, and I was kind of wondering, like, all right, do I try these? And then somebody was like, yeah, you need this like thick one, and
No.
I felt like my electric bill was a little higher.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Don't spend the extra money. Just
Okay.
get a regular pleated filter.
Thanks.
Change
That's
it
good
every
to
month.
know.
Yeah.
That's good. You gonna say something? You gonna add on that?
Yeah, so being out in the field, I've noticed a lot of people, especially people who are germaphobes, they like the allergen filters. They like everything about that, but in reality, it suffocates your unit and also puts more stress on it. And obviously, you want the most airflow for it. And the biggest thing you can do is install air purification into your house if that's what you're worried about. If you want something that's going to be catching all the allergens and whatnot, air purification is going to be the way you want to go.
What is that?
So air purification is, it could be UV light, it could be a Remy Halo. It could even be something as, they've seen those bigger filters, depending on the house you have,
Right.
where they add those massive, 4-inch, where they,
4-inch filter, yeah.
the hospital filters,
Right.
What's the name for it? MERV or MERV 16 or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it's a higher MERV than that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But
But the 4-inch filters just give you more space, more square inches to
But-
filter that.
Okay.
you typically want something that's going to purify your air for the allergens itself.
Okay. Good to know. You also do plumbing.
We
So
do.
I was looking at I was like, you
Yeah.
do plumbing too. So what's the most common plumbing issue you come across?
Wow. And we come across everything. It could be from a simple leak under the sink to your toilet backing up. It could be a leak in your yard.
Mm-hmm.
Water heaters not heating or water heaters leaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often should someone flush their water
So
heater?
if you've never flushed your water heater and it's an older one,
Yeah.
then don't do it because you're just going to create problems.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
that?
Because you have that sediment already built up on the
Mhm.
bottom, and when you flush it through that drain, you'll probably get some of that sediment in the drain, and then you won't be able to close the drain all the way back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So if you have a newer water heater, then you should flush it every year.
Yeah.
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 Once a year. Go ahead and do that.
Okay. And are you still coming across poly pipes?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we are. We see them here and there. And I've actually talked to some insurance people, and insurance companies are not insuring some houses that have poly pipes in them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I owned a house 6-7 years ago,
Mhm.
and I bought it knowing it had poly pipes.
Yeah.
They disclosed it. I got it insured, but
Right.
I had, my intent was to do the repipe,
Right.
and before I even got that done, I had two big
Leaks. Yeah.
leaks, man, and
Yeah, and then you have a water loss because you have drywall involved,
Yep.
and you might have carpet involved,
Mhm.
things like that.
Yeah, I pretty much got a whole new laundry room.
Yeah.
Because it just destroyed just all the drywall.
Right.
Went up into it, and then my master bathroom.
It was right behind it.
No, it was
Oh,
another
second
incident.
leak.
Second
Okay,
leak,
yeah.
So I got a whole new master bathroom,
Wow.
laundry room from those claims from that
Yeah.
poly pipe stuff.
Right.
But then I got it done, and I was like wondering if you're still coming across those today.
We do come
Yeah.
across them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane to me because like my house was built in that house at the time built in 1985.
Yeah.
And
I think all through the 80s
yeah,
they had poly. Yeah.
it's just a crazy thing. And like, I remember going and looking at my next house there. I came across a house that had the poly, and it was
Right.
over there in Oro Valley. It was a
Oh.
nice house too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And real estate, well, it's not that big of a deal. And then I'm like walking around, and I'm like, there was a loss. I could see, where they
yeah.
had patched,
Where they
and-
patched the drywall. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, yeah. Do you guys do those whole repipes?
We do.
Yeah.
We do whole repipes.
What
yeah.
is that? What is that running these days for a poly house that needs a repipe?
Well, I mean, it depends on the house.
Say 1,700 square feet.
just a single story house.
Single story, single family, 17.
Like 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
Probably 8,000 or 9,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you guys putting in it these days?
PEX.
PEX?
Yeah.
Okay. It's reliable.
It is. It has a 30-year
That's good.
warranty on it, but
yeah.
the poly might have had a 30-year warranty on it too.
Well, yeah, because they went under class action, right?
Yeah,
I
they
think
did.
There was I think a lot of people had the opportunity to go and get, if they did the claim, get the house repiped, but a lot of people, for whatever.
Yeah, well, I think you had to have a loss
You had to have a loss.
to do the claim.
Really?
Yeah, and you had that time period to do it. Like,
Wow.
I don't know, maybe 5 years or something.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Man. What a mess.
it was. It was.
So how long you been doing this?
We've been in business for 22 years.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
yeah.
So you started in 2001.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do
Go out
this?
on my own?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working for a couple small companies,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided I could do it better. Just
There you
wanted
go.
to go out there and, treat the people right, serve the people,
Yeah.
and, do a good job for them and provide for my family.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the best thing right there. When you can do what you want. You started it yourself?
Yeah.
Like just went for it, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I had 2 little kids at home, and, he was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you thinking when you first started, like, and you were out there on your own? Like, were you pretty scared?
It's
were you
scary.
confused?
It's yeah, I mean, I guess there's a big difference between a technician and a business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can, someone can fix units all day long, but then when you actually have to do the business owner stuff, the
Yeah.
paperwork and the insurance and paying taxes, and then once you get employees, you have to pay all the different payroll taxes and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So
Yeah.
and doing proposals and figuring out the pricing
Yeah.
and where you're going to get the equipment or the supplies, and if you can't get them from one place, you have to figure out to drag them from another place. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of
there's a lot.
logistics in
There's
there.
a lot, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just because I was paying attention. I don't know, but I feel like in the last couple of years there was a lot of AC companies that popped up in the area.
There always is.
And then
usually in the
and
spring,
then they go away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually in the spring a bunch of them pop up,
Mm-hmm.
and most AC companies only last a year or two.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's nationwide.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think what's the reason you think behind that? Just bad management?
Yeah. I think they just
not considering the stuff you were talking
right,
about.
Right. They don't know how to run a business. They don't price it right,
Mhm.
or just whatever, or they just run into some problems and they don't know how to get through them. Or
So-
some people, I had an employee that left and he started his own company, and he's just like, I don't like this. I don't like doing all the paperwork. I don't like chasing people for payments, and
Mhm.
I don't like the whole proposal process. I just want to go out there and work.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you're a business owner, you can't do that. You have have everything to do.
Yeah. So how many employees you got now?
We have 17 right now.
Wow, good for you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool. 22 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is. Well, gents, this has been awesome. And
Always.
I don't have any other subject to talk about today.
Okay.
But if you do, you can ask me something. I'm an open book, so if you want to ask me something, go for it.
Oh, do you have anything, Alex?
I don't have anything.
No, you good.
I think one of the really cool things about Alex is what he does over at Lucid.
I didn't even ask that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. So what are you doing over there?
So I essentially work on all the automation lines. I keep all the automation lines going, fix all the robots. Well, not necessarily fix them, but we'll fix them, I guess you could say.
Robots are building parts of the car.
Yeah. And so a lot of people are worried about AI and whatnot. They think that robots are going to take over the world, but I'll tell you this. Technology's nowhere that close.
Yeah.
And that's why
I
they
totally
need
agree
us.
with you, man. Totally agree with you.
And automation, and a lot of people don't believe this, automation is the next biggest industry that you can get into. If you can get into it now, do it. And this is the reason why, is because there's places like McDonald's, all these fast food places that are like, hey, we're going to automate everything. And it's just going to be a robot flipping this patty. And then you're just going to have a couple of techs or an engineer, sitting there standby. When something breaks, they fix it and that's it.
Yeah.
And so, simple places or startup companies like Lucid, it's a great place to get into, especially when, you're at the stepping stones of a bigger company.
Yeah.
So
are you guys moving into automation too?
Since
I'm sure, are you guys outsourcing your automation, or is your automation in-house?
It's all in-house.
So is Lucid going into the market of building automation for other industries on top of their car thing, or is it just focused on
no, it's just focused on cars.
Yeah.
So no, we basically focus on just our cars, and then I mainly work on the powertrain. So I work in the battery area, and so we just focus on building battery packs all day and every day.
Yeah.
And so and then the other half of the building focuses on motors.
What did people think was going to happen if you want $15 an hour for minimum wage? What did they think was going to happen? I mean, honestly. Did you say you wouldn't expect this? I mean, people are going to innovate, right? You have a problem now.
Yeah.
Paying people for a cheap hamburger.
Right.
Yeah.
$15 an hour. That's a problem.
That is
right. How do you? And then you guys. I'm sure you guys. I don't know about you, but I've gone to McDonald's recently, and I'm like, I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go get something almost just as good at Five Guys for almost the same amount of money now.
Yeah.
So it's like they go into, well, we'll just get robots and machines and kiosks. It's like,
even look at Walmart. You don't even have cashiers anymore. They want to be able to cut the most costs and still be the most productive and most profitable.
Yeah.
And so automation is pretty much where this world is going to nowadays.
Yeah. And I think that would have happened either way. But I think the idea of all this minimum wage stuff has kind of like fueled it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was just a whole different problem.
Yeah.
I mean, in my own perspective or beliefs, I think you want to raise the rates for some of these jobs that are unskilled, and you don't want the people to get skills.
Yeah.
It's like, we're just going to pay you for a higher skill level, but you don't have to do anything for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of these jobs, like a Walmart greeter or someone at McDonald's, those weren't meant for someone to have a family on.
Right. Yeah.
It's for a high school kid. It's for a retired person. Maybe it's for a second job, because someone needs a second job for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But, those jobs aren't supposed to be built for that.
Yeah.
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 I mean, the American dream is to go out there and get your education or to move up and get that skill and then be able to provide for yourself.
Right. Absolutely. AI, we use AI here. Yeah. It is it's incredible.
Yeah.
And, we were reading an article the other day, and we were adding up stuff that we had done. 1 hour equals 40 hours with AI.
Oh, wow.
Some of the content stuff we have to build.
Yeah.
So, and if you can prompt, Clint and I, as soon as we got wind of this AI thing, we got into it right away and started practicing prompting.
Okay. Have you taken those classes? They have like a whole course on AI.
I think at this point we could probably write a class.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know how to talk to it, right?
Yes.
And then it'll just, because it's supposed to be able at some point to learn how you want it to write.
Oh,
so
it's
that
tracking
it sounds
everything.
just like
Yeah.
what you would actually say.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gets used to kind of what you're doing and building, and it'll just keep expanding and expanding and expanding on it,
Wow.
on what you need. We don't use it to the point where somebody's going to go, gosh, man, well, that's all that I know that's AI for sure. For instance, somebody we know is working with, doing a project with us, a podcast, and we built the front end intro with voices and stuff like that. So our options were pay a couple $100 to get voiceovers and write a script for it and have them record their voiceovers, or we used AI.
Wow. Yeah.
We used AI. That person didn't know that was AI. And when we told him, he was like, oh, come on, guys, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, we saved hundreds of dollars in time using it. And, there's no doubt in my mind that AI has, in this market that we're in, this industry we're in, has already replaced people.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
You know what I mean? I don't think that I think there's plenty of positions already that have already been filled by the AI access and stuff that we're doing. And it's like you said, get into it. My goal, so I just got to find the right person. Maybe you guys can help me out. Maybe somebody's listening to the podcast. My goal for us and Clint and Tammy and the people I'm involved with is we have an actual app that we're working on. We just need, and it uses AI heavily, but we just need a coder that can accomplish that, because we don't have coding in house, and the AI, the coding we're trying to get for it, well, the AI doesn't understand it yet because it's not written.
Okay.
So, and it's not, so it's kind of a challenge for us, but we're trying to get that going. And I think maybe if you guys come across somebody, going
definitely
make $1 gazillion. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think, and I think it's here to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely,
I don't think
nuts.
we're going back. Yeah.
How could you? Yeah. I mean, it's running. I mean, even if the government at some point tries to legislate the use of it, and I think it might get some slowdown in some academic parts.
Yeah.
But as far as like what we're all trying to accomplish, to better, because that's what we're trying to do, right?
Right.
The American dream is we're trying to better our lives,
right?
And then for you own a business, you're trying to better other people's lives.
Yeah.
Fixing their problem,
right?
Feeding, you got employees feeding their families and stuff.
That's right.
Like
Yeah.
So
whenever we, employ someone, I mean, we take on the responsibility of feeding their families.
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh,
it is. No, it
yeah.
really is. So I think I'm trying to think of a cool story with AI in particular. Clint, if you have one, you can tell me. And if listeners, I'm talking to Clint. Clint's in my ear. Right here. He's in the back room. Yeah. Yeah. So he's telling me, so we had a video project that we just did, and it was for a good cause. It's like, it has to do with like a, let's just say it has to do with like a nonprofit, and they're trying to accomplish something with the project, and it was a mess.
Oh,
absolute mess. Well, we use several pieces of software we have that utilize AI within them. How much time do you think we saved? Yeah, so 2 hours finish time is what we got through it. But without that, we were probably estimating that we would be 16 plus hours in already. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how we would have finished it, honestly. It's just like, it's just a mess. But it's like you use AI to your advantage, and it's like, yeah, I do come across backlash on this stuff, and I'm sure with automation, we're going to, right? Oh, you're taking people's jobs. Who's striking right now?
The actors.
Mm-hmm. Actors and
the automakers.
Automakers, right? What you're talking about right now, you think that's not going to start happening more in even the big guys, Ford and all that stuff, right? So it's like, there's going to be backlash. We come across backlash pretty often with the AI thing. Oh, that's the devil, and it's going to, it's going to take over. I don't think it's going to take over everything.
Right.
I think what has to happen is people have to be invested and involved in it, just like he's talking about.
Yeah. Also, another thing too, what people don't think about when it comes to things like this. So as a EV company, we deal with electricity, high voltage, and whatnot. And so that being said, AI and programming robots, that takes all the danger away from personnel. So
right.
you
Yeah.
can-
See, I've never even
no one
looked
thinks
at it
about
that way.
stuff like that because, we have robots that are battery handlers.
Yeah.
Every Tesla has them, Ford has them, every EV, company that has a line, has some type of robot that's a battery handler.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, you're taking all the danger out of, for say my hands, his hands,
Mhm.
and even operator hands. And so a lot of people think of it as it's taking away jobs, but a lot of times it's to be faster, safer, and more productive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and it's like you said, Ron, you got to work on these skills, the skill
Yeah.
sets that you're
Yeah.
that you're looking for. You're not
Right.
like, it's not handed to you. And I think AI and this automation it's gonna be like this awakening for especially like the younger generation that
Right.
I have to get a good skill set.
Yeah.
Right. I got to get in on this because if I don't, even working at McDonald's is going to be
That's right.
hard to come by. I mean,
Yeah.
where do you go?
Right.
Right. What are you doing? We all know, you've seen construction, right? You've seen those 3D printers for construction.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're just building the house with
Yeah.
with the printer. So you were going to say something. I think
I was going to say from a law enforcement background,
Mhm.
do you see AI like maybe to help solve some mysteries, to help solve some crimes? Like you could put
Yeah.
some scenarios into it and then put the different different components in there.
Yeah. I think it's a great resource. I'm sure they're probably already using
Yeah.
it. Some of these agencies like NSA, FBI, CIA, stuff like that. One that would probably be really quick to find some good use out of it would be like computer fraud, computer tampering,
Yeah.
financial crimes, right? Using AI to find where certain money streams are going faster than the investigative person like Brian was talking about. He was an IRS agent.
Right.
And hearing him work through his cases, he was telling me that it would take years and years for these cases
Oh, wow.
from start to finish,
Yeah.
like analyzing all the numbers and stuff. Because, they have some software, but they got to the data entry is pretty much manual on
Wow.
everything you come across. If you think
Yeah.
about it, right? You come across your business owner, your whatever you're using, right? Your spreadsheets or whatever you're using for, even just think about inventory stuff
Yeah.
you have, right? Inputting all that data,
Wow,
right?
yeah.
You don't have somebody that just goes. So that, I think having that, I think that'll help that. And I'm really hoping that it takes a good grip on sexual exploitation online. I'm hoping that maybe that can be something that they use
Right. They can track down things
to track and
yeah.
capture. But the
Yeah.
thing with AI and stuff like that is people got to remember that a lot of law enforcement is bound by the Fourth Amendment. So search and seizure. So if you start utilizing AI to accomplish investigations, I think they're going to have to, I don't know what a search warrant for AI using AI would look like right now. I don't even know how you would.
I didn't think about
how
that.
you would write that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, standard search warrant. You're going into a house. We're looking for A, B, C, D, and G.
Right.
We're going to write everything down. We're looking for this is kind of.
Yeah.
But using AI, hey, we're going to use AI to. So the search warrant component of it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you'd still have to have probable cause to do that. So I mean, they'd have to lay it out.
Yeah. So and then, but there's another thing to talk about too, right? Maybe using AI to help write search warrants faster.
Yeah.
Because I know, I remember we were on it was like a meth lab. A guy blew himself up in making meth,
right?
And we had to get in the house.
Yeah.
And I didn't do the search warrant. I was pretty new still here. They were basically I was in the room to learn.
Okay.
And these detectives, I heard them making the phone call and they're writing on the stuff they were saying, how did you come up with those terms to use all the stuff they had to look for, right? We're talking beakers. They were even talking about the different types of beakers. They were talking about the chemicals they were looking for, all that stuff. So if somebody, if there's an AI template that an officer can use and select, right, the search warrant, investigations should get faster.
That's good. More efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I hope I'm not drowning you on it, but I love AI. So I'm just going to keep going. But I think dispatching could change a lot.
Yeah.
With AI.
Yeah.
Because you have your call takers.
Yeah, even for our industry, for the trades.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are using dispatch.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think AI might have a big role in dispatching.
You're right. Yeah.
Because if you can
for 911 and for
right
trades and different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't say it will fully do it because I think I know of some instances where like a dispatcher's intuition picked up on something that other dispatchers in the room didn't hear.
Okay.
Like, and it turned into something completely different than what was called.
Oh,
right.
wow.
Like it was like a 911 hang up.
But they heard something in the
They
background.
heard just this little sound in the background.
Wow.
That dispatcher heard.
Yeah.
But the other people in there listened and they weren't like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
And then that intuition of whatever that they picked up on, there's always that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I can see the trades as being something big.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
It's kind of scary. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys outsource your dispatching or you guys do that
we're in-house.
You're in-house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something. But
and believe it or not, too, automation is bigger than a lot of people think.
mm-hmm.
Walking into this industry, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And looking at a lot of the technology, we're years, decades advance in technology, but yet again, we're probably still not that far in advance comparatively to what's not available to us.
Right.
And so a lot of things that, us civilians are used have already been tested years ago.
Yeah.
And to kind of like put it in perspective, like ACs, like the inverter technology in ACs that's old school stuff.
Yeah.
Like we've been using that style of, servo electronics, for in this industry since the 80s.
Yeah.
And so, they're barely handing it over just to the trades.
Yeah.
And so we're far along.
Yeah.
There's a lot of technology in there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of skills that you have to know.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things is electricity. A lot of people either you just understand it or you don't understand it. And, it's cool. I mean, once you understand it, electricity can take you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll respect this. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with a developer of AI.
Oh.
And he was talking about that one of the most used pieces of AI that has been in people's houses for years and years and years.
The smart thermostat?
The thermostat.
Yeah.
Just in general, just even the thermostat. Yeah. That's.
But the smart thermostat is supposed to adapt. It's supposed to learn.
Oh,
It's supposed to learn like when you go to work.
When did those come into play?
At least, probably on the major market, probably at least 5 years ago.
5 years ago? Yeah. So he was even talking about the ones before that. The ones he said that the reason they'll engage the unit is because they become uncomfortable. The thermostats themselves become uncomfortable. So it causes a reaction, which then triggers the unit. And he's like, that's one of the first forms of AI that people had in their house and they didn't realize it.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, oh, dang. So I was like, yeah, you'll respect that. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So it was pretty cool to hear that.
A lot of modern day stuff with the new thermostats is geofencing. And if you set that up properly, you could pretty much come home to a cold house while, middle of the day, it doesn't have to maintain anything crazy. And it saves you a lot more on your electricity bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We're like in this like really, this is a cool time. It's a cool time to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. Check out it really is. I mean, I'm mind blown. I love it though. I'm like, it's just trying to keep up with it. It's just crazy on its own. Because like every time we get good at something, there's like, oh, there's this new thing.
That's right.
So we gotta do
if
this
you're standing still, you're falling behind.
Amen, man. Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Love it. Well, gents, we've been doing this for almost an hour. Does that say 57 minutes? Wow, 57 minutes we've been doing this. Can you believe that? It went fast.
That's awesome.
Flies by.
Hey, it was great having you here, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Always a
great
pleasure.
As always, you're always welcome back, both you guys. We'll probably link up again soon. If you're listening, follow us, Live the Dream Media on Facebook, Instagram, and we're on TikTok. Check out our website, check out our blogs. We have some stuff in there about AI that we were talking about today. Also, if you want to look at our affiliate companies, Local Marana, and our new one, This is Marana, the website launched yesterday. It's a great place. If you're looking to publish something on there, go ahead and do that. If you need help advertising in the new digital age era, we have access to everything. We're talking about all of your streaming apps, ESPN, Disney Plus, Fox. You want to get in front of the game? We've got you covered. We're on Hulu, Spotify, and more. Make sure you reach out to us for a consultation. They're free, so do it. Again, thank you so much.